I am back with another makeup tutorial today, and this look is going to be a date night makeup look. I wanted to do something a little bit different than I normally do in the summertime. Usually I go for like bronzy eyes, glowy skin, very simple and neutral. I wanted to play around and do something a little bit more smoky, but still using very rich, warm tones for summertime. So this is the look that I came up with, of course. As you can see, the eyes are pretty much the main focus. I wanted to keep the rest of the face kind of monochromatic and just a little bit more neutral. So I really like the way it turned out. I hope you guys do too. And me and my friend Andrea wanted to collaborate at the end of July, beginning of August. So I thought that this would be the perfect time to do kind of like a summer's night makeup tutorial / date night makeup tutorial. The really cool thing about collaborating with Andrea on a tutorial is that she's like the complete opposite of me as far as hair and eye color, because she's got the prettiest dark brown puppy eyes and dark hair, and of course I have blonde hair and blue eyes. So it's really fun to see the look that she comes up with, and I always really looked forward to seeing her looks. I've been loving her tutorials over the last year. They've been so good. If you guys aren't familiar with Andrea, which I'm sure most of you are already subscribed to her channel, but if you're not, I will link her channel as well as her tutorial down below in the description bar. So be sure to head over there and check out her look and her tutorial and her channel. She makes a lot of really incredible beauty videos. She's very consistent and she just puts out amazing content. But I love her as a person even more. So I know you guys will love her channel as well and her, so be sure to go check her out. Hope you guys enjoy both of our looks. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, or if you're new to my channel, welcome. Thank you for sticking around and watching this video and subscribing. I really appreciate it. And if you guys are interested in seeing how I created this makeup look today, then just keep watching and we will go ahead and get started. To save some time, I went ahead and filled in my brows off camera, and I also applied these shadow shields. Basically, it's like Scotch tape, just a little fancier. So if you don't have these, you could just use Scotch tape. It works all the same. It just helps your eyeshadow to be a little bit more sharper on the outer corner. And then I'm going in with the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer per usual. I love using this concealer as a primer because it not only primes my eyes and helps my eyeshadow stay a little bit longer and more vibrant, but it also adds a little coverage to your eyelid. So it's great if you're someone that has darkness or veining on your eyelids, which I do, so that's why I love to use this as a primer. And then I'm just applying whatever I have left on my fingers just to the center of my face to add a little bit more coverage. And because my eyelids are the only part of my body that get oily, I'm going to set them with the Laura Mercier translucent powder. I tried to use this powder all over my face. It's just a little too drying, but it's perfect for my eyelids and helps my eyeshadow just last even longer. So I'm just applying this with a big fluffy brush. And then right over top of the translucent powder, I'm going in with Makeup Geek's Peach Smoothie and Cream Brulee mixed together. And I'm just sloppily placing this in my crease. You don't have to be too precise with this. You just want to make sure that it's focused in the crease so that the rest of your shadows blend out really nicely. And the palette that I'm going to be using today is the Morphe 35W palette, and I'm going in with this gold shade and a little bit of MAC Fix Plus. The gold shade is the second row last shade. It's a little bit difficult for me to tell you guys the shades because I don't know the numbers on them or the names, but I'm just going to try to insert pictures to be a little bit more helpful. And I'm using the MAC 242, which is a flat, dense shader brush. Any shader brush you have will work as long as it's flat and it's dense so you get the most color payoff with the shadow. This next color I'm going in with is a melon shade, and it's the third row first shade, and I kept applying this over and over again, and each time I applied it, like the less pigmentation I kept getting, it just was not building up for me. So I ended up going back in with a Makeup Geek shadow, but this shade is pretty much going to be my transition or my gradient shade from light to dark, and it just adds that pop of color right on the center of the lid. And if you have blue eyes, it is so beautiful, but like I said, the pigmentation just wasn't there. So I went back in with Makeup Geek's Mango Tango, and you can see how much it just brightens up the center of the lid right there. So I love this shadow. I used to use it all the time last summer. And then I'm going in with this mid-tone vibrant purple, and I'm applying this right at the outer V of my eye. I'm focusing most of it on the lid and then just going slightly above the crease. And I'm using a Sigma E25 to apply this, which this is a blending brush, but it is a little bit more dense. So it allows you to get a very controlled blend, which is great. I want this look to be very diffused and not a lot of harsh edges, except for the edge that Obviously the shadow shield is on. Other than that, I want it to be just very gradient and just very blended seamlessly. So once I have the shadow placed where I want it to be, I'll turn my brush to the side just a little bit and start blending it inwards. And I also start to blend it downwards a little bit, which is going to give me that cat eye effect. And then it's always a good idea to go back in with a fluffy blending brush just to make sure that everything is blended, blended, blended. The next shade I'm going in with is really going to amp up the smokiness of this look, and I'm using this dark reddish brown, which is so absolutely beautiful. And this one was so pigmented, it was perfect. And I'm just applying this with a tapered blending brush. This is very small and precise, which is perfect because I just want it right there on that outer corner. And this brush is also great because it fits right into the crease. So once I have the color down, I'll start to move all of the product into the crease just a little bit, which is just going to blend the purple, the brown, and just the rest of the look together. And since we just blended, I'm going to go back in with Mango Tango by Makeup Geek and just touch up that middle shade just so that it really pops on the center of the lid. Now I'm just removing the shadow shields, and I was actually pretty surprised how much fallout I did have, but I think it was because of that shadow that I applied in the middle, that melon one, because it just wasn't so pigmented, so I had to keep packing it on there. So I'm just taking a makeup wipe now and cleaning things up so that it doesn't look like a rainbow under my eyes. And then to highlight my brow bone, I'm just using the lightest shade in the palette, which is actually the very first shade on the top, and I'm just popping this right at the highest point of my brow bone. Going back in with Peach Smoothie and Cream Brulee by Makeup Geek, I'm blending those two together once again, and I'm popping that under my lower lash line using a pencil brush. And then I'm going to go in with that darkest shade, which is the reddish brown color, and I'm using an angled brush, which is a lot smaller and tighter, and I'm just pressing that into my lower lash line. And since this is a date night makeup look and a little bit more smoky, I'm going to go in with eyeliner today on my waterline. And I love this eyeliner by Maybelline because it's so black and precise and tiny, and it's perfect for the waterline. It's also perfect to tightline with, which is what I'm doing now. So I'm applying this to my upper waterline. Then I went ahead and popped on false lashes off camera. These are Salon Perfect 614. Then I'm going in with primer. So I'm using two different primers mixed together. I'm using the NYX Angel Veil Primer along with the L'Oreal Light Infusing Primer. These two together are like my perfect primer situation, and I'm just pressing the primer into my skin. I don't like to rub it, I like to press it. And then I'm going in with the Milani Conceal Imperfect Foundation. I just cannot put this foundation down. It is so full coverage, it's so lightweight on the skin, and it's just so good. It's also very long wearing on me. So I'm applying this all over my face using the Tweezer Man Flat Top Kabuki brush. And then to conceal my under eyes, I'm going back in with an old favorite, which is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Dark Circle Eraser Concealer. I think it's what it's called. I don't know. But it is so good, you guys. And it's, again, full coverage, which I love. And the color is perfect. This one is in the shade Neutralizer. It's actually a little bit lighter than the shade Light, which is perfect for me. And it is a little bit more yellow. So I'm just blending that out using a beauty blender or a dampened beauty blender and pressing it into my skin. I don't like to do a whole lot of rubbing motions. I just like to kind of press it in, which makes it just blend into the foundation a lot better. To set my foundation today, I'm going to be using the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Diffused Light. I'm not a huge fan of powders, but this one I love because it doesn't give me that caked up powdery look, but allows my foundation, or not my foundation, my bronzer to blend a lot better. So I'm just applying this with the Morphe E1. I'm using a cream bronzer first today. I'm going in with the Sonia Kashuk bronzer, and I love this bronzer. I recently picked it up again, and I cannot even believe that I went this long without it. It is just so good, especially if you're someone that likes a little definition in the face, you like to contour a little bit. This is perfect to lay out your shape or your contour and then go in and set it with a powder bronzer. I think that that's key for anyone that just wants a really nice perfected look. So I've been loving this. I'm going to do a whole video on how I contour my face recently, so be on the lookout for that, but I'm just applying this to my normal contour areas. And I know when most people think of like a cream bronzer, you're thinking heavy and creamy, but this is so light. It's honestly like you're putting a very sheer like lotion on your face. I don't even know how to describe it, but it is so amazing, you guys, and it blends beautifully. So I'm applying a little bit more right under my lip just to make it appear fuller, and then I'm gonna go in and blend it all out with a beauty blender, which is what I usually do. The way that the beauty blender meshes with this product is just so good. And then to set the cream bronzer, I'm going in with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. And I mentioned in my favorites video that this bronzer is a little on the cool side. So without using the Sonia Kashuk one, which was a little warmer, I probably wouldn't have been able to use this to set it. But because it was warmer and this is a little cooler, it kind of balances it out perfectly. So I'm just setting everywhere that I applied the Sonia Kashuk bronzer first. For blush, I'm using the Tarte blush in the shade Darling. This came in a holiday collection, but you can buy it separately, so I will link it down below. And I'm using a duo fiber brush because this blush is very pigmented and I didn't want to pick up a whole lot of product. So I'm just dusting this on the highest point of the apples of my cheeks. And then for highlighter, because we have to have highlighter, or I do at least. So I'm using the highlighter from Becca, and this is the shade Opal, and I'm just applying this to the normal highlight areas, the top of my cheekbones, and bringing it up towards my temple just a little bit. A little bit on the Cupid's bow. I like to really make my lips pop, and then I'm also taking some on my forehead because I do have a larger forehead, so when I apply it, it just kind of diffuses light off of it, which I think is really pretty. And then for lips, I'm going in with the Bare Minerals lip liner in the shade Freestyle, which is hands down my new favorite lip liner. It is so perfect. It's that perfect nude. It's not too warm. It's not too cool. It's just a very neutral brown that looks so good with so many different lip colors, and I just love it. So I'm lining my lips with this first. And then I'm going in with another Bare Minerals product. This is one of their lip glosses. I couldn't decide between the two at first, but then I decided to go with the more neutral one versus the more pinky one, since I did have a lot of pink and coral going on the lid. And I am, oh my goodness, smitten by this color as well. This is in the shade Tantalize, and it is just my perfect lip gloss. If I could make one for myself, this would be it. It is just so perfect in every aspect. So I'm applying this all over my lips. It helps them look a little bit more full and juicy and plump, which I love, especially in the summertime, and it's perfect for a date night. So after I got my lip color on, I decided to pop some Shimma Shimma in my inner corner from Makeup Geek. This just helps to really open the eyes, especially when I, or someone that has smaller eyes, is going for a more smoky look. This just helps to brighten it up just a little bit. So then I'm just setting my brows just to make sure they stay in place, and then I'm setting my face with MAC Fix Plus. So that's the finished look, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this makeup tutorial. Again, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss my future videos, and don't forget to head over to Andrea's channel and check out her video. I know you will love her tutorial and her, so definitely go check her out. Thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys in my next one. Bye.